Chapter 229. If you want to die, just do it. On a small mountain more than 10 kilometers away from the dead bamboo forest, Zishen had just stopped when he turned around and realized that the dead bamboo forest had turned into a sea of fire. So fierce, he was flabbergasted. He had thought that even if the two sides fought, the second uncle of the Song family would not be in a good position. After all, this was Master Yan's territory. In the end, in just a short while, they had destroyed their nest. Master Yan was probably doomed. This poor family actually has such a backer, I can't afford to offend him. He had a look of fear on his face. He decided to leave Silken City as soon as possible and not get involved in this mess. Just as he activated his Dharma artifact, Sanchi's figure appeared in front of him with a swoosh. When he saw it clearly, he bowed anxiously. "Senior, what instructions do you have? Does this Master Yan have any friends or family who are willing to avenge him?" Sanchi asked. "No. Has an independent cultivator. He stepped onto the path of cultivation halfway in his life. He doesn't have any background and his talent is limited. He basically has no hope of forming a court in his life. That's why he's obsessed with talismans and used other methods to increase his strength." Zishen shook his head. He knew Master Yan's situation quite well. "Do you think the Sacred Fire Sect will avenge him?" Sanchi asked the second question. "This I think so. After all, has an elder in the sect. For the sake of their face, they should avenge him. However, Senior is very powerful, so I don't think many people are willing to risk their lives." Zishen told the truth. This was human nature. The face of the sect was important, but for everyone, their lives were definitely more important. "Bring me to the Sacred Fire Sect." Sanchi decided to make a trip. Zishen was stunned. Was he going to deal with this sect alone? Most of the experts in the sect are not around. If Senior really wants to go, I can only give you the location. I don't dare to lead the way, otherwise, it will be terrible if the sect finds out. Zishen smiled bitterly. Sanchi's gaze flickered. "Yes, sect master and the others, and to participate in the Lanya Immortal meeting. I heard that the rewards this time are very generous." Zishen said something that Sanchi knew of. "Oh, that's good." Sanchi pondered and said, "Continue leading the way." He had to seize such a good opportunity. He would destroy a portion of the sect first and deal with the remaining members at the Lanya Immortal meeting. He did not bring Songhai with him anymore and only left with Zishen. After traveling for half a day, they arrived at Li Province, which was in the southwest of Jinzhou. This place was close to one of the 9 great countries. Most of the regions were a fiery red wasteland. There were very few people here, and it was completely different from Jinzhou, which had beautiful mountains and clear waters. The Sacred Fire Sect was located in the most remote corner of the Li Prefecture. If not for someone leading the way, Sanchi would have spent a lot of time searching for it. Sanchi sat on the flying boat and looked down at the endless Gobi Desert. The sand on the ground churned, and when he got close, he felt like he was floating on a Red Sea. Strange, why is there such a huge sandstorm near the sect? Zishen, who was sitting at the side, revealed a surprised expression. At this moment, a few streaks of light suddenly rushed out from the red sand. A moment later, a few more sword lights followed closely behind, biting the one in front of them and not letting go. "Survivors of the demonic sect, you can't escape. Die." Ah! Amidst shouts and screams, one of the lights in front was destroyed by the sword chi. The cultivators inside had their limbs torn apart and were killed on the spot, bleeding in midair. Sanchi looked at this scene in surprise. The people who escaped were dressed in yellow uniforms. The pursuers were dressed in white, and most of them used swords. Their auras were sharp and carried a ferocious aura. "Oh no, it's the Zenith Heaven Guards. The sect has been ambushed." Zishen's expression changed drastically as he exclaimed, "Zenith Heaven Guards." Sanchi's gaze shifted slightly. This was a special team within the Demon Slayers. They were mainly in charge of killing and were led by the Zenith Heaven Sword King. They were very famous in Great Jing. He did not expect to meet them here. He smiled. "Looks like the Sacred Fire Sect will be destroyed without me doing anything." At this moment, after a few screams, the few people who escaped were all killed by the Zenith Heaven Guards. Then, sword light flashed and surrounded Sanchi's flying ship. "You guys came back at the right time. Kill them all so that we don't have to look for them." The leading foundation and establishment sword cultivator sneered. His gaze was merciless, as if he was sizing up the two corpses. They had already heard Zishen's exclamation and treated the two of them as elders and deacons who had returned from outside to the sacred fire sect. Zishen was so frightened that his face turned pale. Sanshi only asked him to lead the way, but these people would kill him. He looked at Sanshi. This was the only person who could protect him now. He just didn't know if he was part of the Zenith Heaven Guards. Relying on him probably wouldn't work. These people dared to destroy their sacred fire sect, meaning that they were very confident. Moreover, the Zenith Heaven Sword King was probably here too. Everyone would most likely die today. I'm sorry, I'm not a member of the sacred fire sect. Moreover, I have the same goal as you guys. I'm here to destroy them. Sanshi said calmly. Now that you've made a move, you've dealt with it even more cleanly than me. It saves you a lot of trouble. You're quite good at pretending. Do you think you can leave safely by pretending to be an enemy of the sacred fire sect? The leading foundation establishment sword cultivator scoffed. Do you think we didn't hear what he said? Sanshi frowned. As from the sacred fire sect, he led the way for me. Continue making up stories. The foundation establishment swordsman had a disdainful expression. He lowered his head and shouted, "Come over, brothers. A foundation establishment remnant and a chi refinement cultivator have returned. We can't let them escape." Sanshi frowned. How could there still be a *king misunderstanding? However, Zishen seemed to have grabbed onto a straw to clutch at. He rolled his eyes and said, "Elder San, let's run quickly. Your flying ship is very fast. You will definitely be able to shake them off." Look, his leg collapsed on its own. The leading swordsman looked smug. Clang, clang, amidst sword cries, several sword lights rushed out from the sand. These Zenith Heaven Guards were also dressed in white and flew on their swords. Many of them were stained with blood, which looked especially obvious. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The new Zenith Heaven Guards cooperated tacitly to block the flying ship's escape route. Apart from the swords under their feet, they also held swords in their hands. Some with high cultivation levels even floated beside them on their swords, ready to attack at any time. In the blink of an eye, Sanshi and the flying ship were sealed by the Zenith Heaven Guards and sword beams. These sword beams were arranged in an orderly manner, clearly forming a sword array. When Zishen saw that the Zenith Heaven Guards were confident of victory, cold sweat broke out on his forehead as he begged, "Elder Song, leave quickly. He won't believe you." Crack, Ahin instantly grabbed his neck and twisted it gently. Sanshi stared coldly at the unbelievable Zishen. "Why are you talking so much nonsense? You're still playing tricks on me. You." Zishen did not expect Sanshi to kill him at all. Regret appeared in his eyes. If he did not open his mouth and continue to trick the Zenith Heaven Guards, believe that this person was an elder of the Sacred Fire Sect, would he have a chance to live? Unfortunately, there were no what-ifs. Flames emerged from Sanshi's hand. The terrifying flames turned him into ashes, leaving only his storage bag and Dharma artifacts. Sanshi skillfully put them away. As expected of someone from the demonic sect, has really temperamental. He didn't hesitate to attack his own people. The Foundation establishment sword cultivators who came to support mocked. Sanshi's face twitched as he stepped into a void. Boom! With a loud bang, golden flames erupted. The pupils of the surrounding Zenith Heaven Guards constricted, and they were all sent flying by the blast of energy. Those with low cultivation spat out blood and fell on the spot. "I don't want to explain to you anymore. If you want to die, just attack me." Sanshi looked disdainful. He was not even afraid of nascent soul cultivators, let alone these guys.